There we go. Y'all know I'm kind of infamous with this mute button. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Today is Thursday, August 22nd, 2024, and you are in the Java Cafe. I'm excited today to have a brother with us who is a multidisciplined, multi-talented. We're going to check in with him today for Thankful Thursday. Good morning to Rosteen over on Instagram. Shout out to everybody that's listening on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. For the folks that will come in on Twitter, don't forget to hit the live chat and participate in the conversation. I'm going to ask you to do me a favor and hit the share button and tag somebody to come in and join you in this week's last serving of Java, because y'all know Thursdays are my Friday. So without further ado, I would like to bring in this good brother, and I'm going to just share a little bit about him because, as I mentioned, he is multidisciplined as an author. As I've been announcing, he's an author, he's a TEDx speaker, he's an educator, he's an advocate, a few things, a consultant, works on education equity, and he is, as I mentioned, an author, and he's focusing his research on the mattering of Black boys as a tool for academic persistence and long-term professional success are just a couple of things that he's working on. And so I'm excited to bring him in. Do me a favor when he comes in and welcome him. Why can't I talk this morning? Welcome him in to the Java Cafe this morning. So give this brother a good hand as he is coming in this morning. And Jake, for every Black boy, we'll get into that. I want to give you opportunity at least to say hello first, but I'm kind of excited about the conversation. But good morning, sir. Greet the folks. Before we jump in, I'm trying to figure out what is a little icebreaker for you. Greet the folks and then describe how you're feeling in reference to the political landscape in one word. So I got you first. Come on, let's go.
Good
morning,
big
sir.
question. Hey,
Yes,
listen,
sir.
Jimmy, great to be here. I know, you are one of the cultural architects of the greater Boston area, especially in the Black community. So I'm glad to be on a call with you today. It's been a couple months since we last connected at the TEDx Roxbury stage, but great to see you again. Great to see all the folks who are tuned in, listening this morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. The political landscape. Here's the thing. If you'd asked me 3-4 months ago, I would say terrified. I'd say scared. I'd say worried. Today, I'm feeling encouraged. We are moving through the DNC this week. We are getting a lot of excitement around a brand new Democratic nominee, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. And so I'm going to say eager. Eager is my word.
Eager. And so, okay, well, you're not here to talk politics, but just, you work with young people, and this generation is now tuned in like never before. And so
Right.
Just to close this segment out, how important is it for every Black boy, man, to, and let me prioritize this, to be a priority for, and with all due, we share values and morals, but with all due, for the Republican Party, for the Democratic Party, for the independents, how important is it for us to be a priority in their agenda and engagement? Right. And then closing that out with how important it is for us, when engaged and when we're not engaged, to engage ourselves, especially in such pivotal times of decisions.
We have to be engaged. We have to vote. We have to be civically engaged. A lot of people are apolitical, or they stay out of conversations regarding political discourse. And I understand it. I understand it because when you have not been forefronted in political discourse, when you have not been a priority to legislators and policymakers and mayors and governors for centuries, when you couldn't even vote for centuries, it makes sense why you might not feel compelled to be a part of the conversation. But today, it's so important for us all to be engaged, civically engaged, and politically aware and conscious, because so many things that happen in these closed rooms with policymakers impacts the everyday lives of people. And if you want to make your narrative heard, if you want to scream from the tops of buildings and shout out the things that you care about, one of the best ways to do that is to go to the voting booth and cast a ballot.
I love it, and an absolute good way to close out. And so let's transition into, I got ready to jump right in, into sort of who you are and what contributed, Jake, to you growing up. What contributed to your growth that you operate and move in such a, and we're similar, we're eclectic, we wear different hats, we can do different things. What contributed to who, and if you would also touch on the fact around the specificity of your spelling of your name and how it's spelled. Who is Jake?
Certainly. So first and foremost, Jimmy, I'm a son to my parents. I'm a grandchild to my grandparents who are no longer alive, but whose wisdom still moves throughout me. I am a brother to my siblings. I'm a friend to my friends. I am, you shouted out Ross team, my partner, Joel Ross. I'm a partner to Joel Ross, and I'm a queer Black man in America. That's a huge piece of who I am. And my identity is inform the way that I move throughout this world. I'll share the brief history of my name, but I encourage anyone who's interested to learn more to reach out to me one-on-one, because it is pretty sacred, important, and salient. My grandmother gifted me this name. She was the first person in my family who I came out to as a queer person. And I figured it was kind of safe because she had Parkinson's. And Parkinson's affects, of course, motor skills, but also cognition and memory. And so when I came out to her, I was pretty certain that she was going to forget, and I wouldn't have to face the scary future of being out to my family.
Yes.
But because she couldn't really steady her hand too well in the later years of her life, she wrote in all capital letters. And she gifted me the name Jake with capital J, capital A, capital K, capital E. And I wear it today because she knew more about me than I may ever learn about myself. My grandmother was tapped in. Let me tell you, Jimmy, she was tapped in spiritually, religiously. She was a faith leader in her community for decades. But she really knew a lot about me, things that I'm still trying to figure out. And so I wear my name in the ways that I write it, paying homage to my grandmother, Doris Small. I think it froze a bit for me. Is it freezing for other folks? I can hear the music. I can see the comments still coming in, but I think it might have froze. If folks are experiencing some lag, just light up the cameras a little bit. Okay, I'm live. Well, I'll take this as an opportunity to say hello, everybody. Pardon the technical difficulties. I'm sure Jim will be right back online. I'm glad to see so many friends, family, siblings, and new friends in the chat. Hey, y'all.
Jake, I'm so sorry. I don't know what is going on this morning, but my computer just died. And so we're going to continue, but if anything drops again, you stayed on. So if it drops out again, just keep talking and act
I'll
like
just talk.
Yeah, I apologize for that. I don't know. The whole thing maybe it's time to upgrade. But I left off with you talking about how your grandmother spelled your name. And what I heard was a pronunciation. You talked about her being religious and spiritual. And that pronunciation of your name in all caps, I think is major. And so where did I interrupt you back in? Because I can't believe this thing just shut down like that. But go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
No worries. Hey, listen, Jimmy. One of my greatest skills is I'll always find a technical difficulty, a technical problem. I always am the one who's on mute too long or gets cut off. So it's a blessing that I haven't hit one of those difficulties yet. So I'm with you.
It's on me today. It's all on me today, brother. So
well, thanks for taking the burden. Yes, I was just mentioning about my my grandmother, Doris Small, who I only knew for the first 15 or 16 years of my life. But the wisdom that she imparted on me, I'm sure I'll carry with me until the day I die. And hopefully I can propagate some of her wisdom with other people. The wisdom of knowing who you are, the wisdom of taking up space unapologetically, the wisdom of moving with the confidence and self-assuredness that you can only have if you know that you are here to do divine work, right? I don't need anyone to fill up my sense of self, because I know that I'm mission aligned, that I care about the people and things that I care about. I care about the communities I'm a part of. And so I got a lot of the self-confidence that I have from my grandmother. And she, may God rest her soul. She lives on inside my heart and my mind and my spirit and all of those things.
We have that definitely in common, sir, among, some other things. But I remember when the feds had tapped me for a position and the guy came out and said, what about your demographic, the typical things that happen, I wasn't stabbed, shot, killed, locked up. And he said, what kept you, maintained? And I said, my grandmother's prayers and God, you know what I mean? And so I share that value, because there is little for which I would want if my grandmother was still here. Looked out for me, I said, my grandmother taught me God and my grandfather taught me how to be a man. And so I definitely share that with you, and I miss her immensely. And thank you for, now I'm sitting up here all mushy because I miss my Nana. But she's a major part of the foundation of who you are. What about your life experience, where you're comfortable sharing the part of you that's queer in that process? I've been very open about, my experience, and also with the balance of, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time there because that's not all of who we are. And so what are some of the parts of your journey that contributed to you really being this multifaceted sort of eclectic brother that just moves and flows like in very smoothly, by the way? Tell us
thank you.
the background.
Yeah, certainly. So I'll go back. I've known that I was queer since sometime around middle school. I didn't share it with my family and friends until I got to college, until I was 17, 18 years old. But I knew it. I knew it was true in my heart. I knew that something made me different. At the same time, I was navigating through school, always the kid with a lot of friends. I played football. I was good in my classes. The teachers liked me. But one big thing that I noticed as a child was the difference when it came to who got resources and who didn't, right? I went to public schools for most of my life, growing up in Queens, New York City, shout out Queens. And in that time, I didn't know that I was the disadvantaged kid, right? I put that in quotes, the disadvantaged kid. But, I was in schools with textbooks older than I was, with cafeteritariums and spaces that were really run down. In my sophomore year of high school, I got recruited to play football at this private elite high school in Brooklyn. And in the course of 1 year, it switched from not having resources to having an abundance of resources. And that's when I learned that some people, again, get, and some people are without. When I got to college, I knew I had to study education. I had to study what makes this world so inequitable, specifically at the earliest points of learning, right? Formal education through preschool and K through 12. My family are all educators, and so it was a natural jumping off point for me.
Okay. You said something there that got me a little excited. I lost my train of thought quick because I'm praying that this tech does what it's supposed to do. And so to ensure that we cover everything that we need to, I'm going to speed us up a little bit just in case, because stuff's going on here in the background. And if we need to, we'll have you come back to give you due justice for everything. I apologize again for the tech. You have taken those life experiences, and you're an author. And you're specific. You talk about the entry points of where we see inequity, how early they demonstrate themselves, and specifically in education. When it comes to us, the school to prison pipeline, all of the other things, the lack of equity and resources, what took you from that your life experience, that academic space? What made you become an author? And is it more in an academic space, thesis type? What contributed to you being that author, that transition, life experience, academics, and now you have a piece that is tangible to talk about for every Black boy?
Right. I started writing this book for me. I needed a creative outlet. I needed a space to play and dream. I have a mentor who I haven't had the opportunity to talk one-on-one with yet, Alok Vaid Menon, who is a writer, a poet, a performing artist, who oftentimes says poetry is one of the few places where we as adults don't need to make sense. We can instead focus on making sensation and feeling. And I wrote for every Black boy because, like you mentioned, I'm a justice-driven researcher. I'm a scholar. A lot of the things that I focus on lately, especially, have been the academic and professional success of Black boys and Black men in American public education systems. And there are some really damning statistics that we're up against. You had mentioned the school to prison pipeline. What's true is that 25% of Black men will end up behind bars before the age of 40. What's true is that only 40% of Black men who start a college degree will finish it within 6 years. These are upsetting statistics, and they should do more than just anger us. They should move us to action. They should move us to do something. And for me, I needed something to fuel me up emotionally and spiritually to continue doing this research-based work. And for me, it was writing for every Black boy, a collection of poems and short stories, visual illustrations that recount my own racialized experiences moving through the world. Jimmy, did I lose you again? Listen, he gave me instructions to keep chatting, and so I'll do just that. For anyone who's interested in learning more about For Every Black Boy, you can visit foreveryblackboy.org. You can learn more about the work that I'm doing to ensure that this book gets into as many lives and public libraries as possible. I've created a list of 1,000 Black serving public libraries throughout the country. And my goal is by the end of this year to get a copy of For Every Black Boy into 1,000 Black serving public libraries across the nation. It looks like Jimmy's come on back with us.
I got the sound back, but not. Can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah, I can hear you well.
Jake, I don't care too much about me. What we're going to do is, one, if you can put the link to get the book. There I go. Yeah, you talk about your grandmother being religious and whatnot. You know, I want to sit up here and start yelling, "This ain't nothing but the devil." What I want to do is do you justice, sir, and probably go ahead and reschedule this, because I just, there's so many things that I want to be able to extract from this conversation. I want to acknowledge before it acts up again, a brother that we know and you probably are familiar with and working with. I'm not sure if you know about the Black Boy Joy Summit. Yes, coming up that Brother Craig is doing. I'm a part of. I believe you're a part of. Thaddeus is a part of. I just want to deviate for a second because it has been a minute since he's been with us. And so, Uncle Thaddeus, it is good to see you in the room, sir. Of course, you would come back on the day where tech is messing up, and I'll probably get a text about me needing to upgrade. But Uncle Thaddeus, in the frame of, and Jake, if you could talk a little bit again before this thing messes up. In your research and in your writing, you lived it, but you also in your academic studies, you became aware of statistics. You just talked about the 25%. How do you focus on Black Boy Joy that every Black boy needs, no matter their circumstance?
Black Boy Joy is knowing that you matter. Black Boy Joy is knowing that you matter not just to your friends and to your family at home. It's knowing that you matter to your teachers, to your political leaders, to your faith leaders, to your sports team coaches, right? Black Boy Joy is knowing that you are important, not because you've done anything great and wonderful, but because you simply exist. And your importance and your somebodiness was gifted to you from the day that you were born. And Black Boy Joy to me means figuring out firstly who you are and then sharing it with the world. Whatever ways we can do that, I think is worthwhile. For me, it's been getting to do a lot of research and being an instructor and educator, and also authoring this book for every Black boy. But figuring out who you are, figuring out what your stamp on the world will be, that is Black Boy Joy. And then finding a platform to share it with the world, because we need, I believe deeply that we need more positive representations in the media of being a Black man, of being a Black boy. And my book is as much an exploration of Blackness in boyhood as it is about love. And I have so much love in my heart that it overpours and it's overflowing. And so hopefully folks on the call today are feeling it as well. And please, yes, come out to the Black Boy Joy Summit. We're not too far out from it, just a couple months from now. Craig Aarons Martin, who Jimmy mentioned, is the founder and leader. But of course, there's a lot of incredible speakers who are going to be joining and offering mentorship to young brothers across the greater Boston area. And thank you to the folks who are so tapped in, who are commenting from YouTube or Facebook, Instagram. I'm not typically in a studio like this, and so seeing it all is making me very excited. Okay, Michelle Smith, thank you. Wonderful, thank you so much. If folks, and I'm getting a technical difficulty on my side, hopefully folks can still hear me. But if folks are interested to learn more, please check out that link that Jimmy just put into all the different chats, foreveryblackboy.org/order. There's a number of Black serving libraries that I'm focusing on. I'll give part of my time with this platform to share about them. Langston Hughes Community Library and Cultural Center in Queens, New York City. It houses the largest collection about the African diaspora and Black experience in New York. So I'm planning on donating a copy there. Of course, the Roxbury branch of the Boston Public Library. I love Roxbury, and we'll be donating a couple copies there. So please pitch in any ways that you can. Wonderful. I'm seeing in the chat some ways that folks are gonna get involved with this movement, because that's truly what it is. What else can I share about? If folks have any particular questions, feel free. All the comments are coming through well for me, whether it's through Facebook or Instagram. So if you have anything you'd like to discuss, I'm all ears. I know Jimmy is working on getting back here. Okay, we got him back.
I'm glad that the last thing I said to you was talking about Black Boy Joy.
Right.
I want to shout you out for also adding another hat to your things that you're mostly disciplined in doing. Welcome to being a talk show host. Jake, I am really so sorry. About this. But I want to go ahead. I did restart, but I just don't trust it. And I'd rather reschedule you, and maybe we can be very intentional about doing it before the Black Boy Joy Summit, and to get you to come back. But I just, and my mother said that you're doing a great job.
Thank you, Mama.
I am so heated right now. What are some things that we want to ensure before we intentionally end, before it just ends on us, that we want to make sure that people are aware of? I did share the link to the book as well for people to order. And what role, I don't know if you covered it, forgive me, but are you speaking or doing anything at the Black Boy Joy Summit?
So Craig, founder and leader of Black Boy Joy Summit, he and I, we're going to get together, brother Craig, in the next couple of days to figure out how I can get involved and get tapped in. But I saw someone mention in the comments, how can you learn more? How can you register? Visit Black Boy Joy Summit, blackboyjoysummit.com. You can see all the information about how to support, how to become a sponsor, how to become a partner, how to get Black teens, Black boys, Black youth, and your network registered and attending. It'll be one of the largest convenings of Black boy youth, Black male youth in the greater Boston area that we've seen. So definitely make sure that Black boys in your network are a part of that. Yeah, that's essential to share.
Absolutely. And then what advice would you give to a Black boy that might be, I was just going to say, give me some advice because I'm really, I'm in a space right now, brother. This little bit of stuff will send me in an interesting space. But I am glad that at least in an introductory sort of manner that people got to know who you are. And I think with the tech difficulties, you gave them enough to make them more inquisitive to like, let me go see who this guy is since you introduced us and then messed up. But I do want to get you rescheduled again, Jake, and bring you back because I just want to, and I might just try to hold the space until it cuts out. Right now, it seems like it's doing all right. I haven't blanked out past couple of minutes, so maybe we'll try continuing a little bit more. And so now there's a lot that you covered that I didn't get to hear. And so if I repeat anything, just please forgive me. And again, I'll apologize to the audience. Technical difficulties happen every now and then. What I've ascertained from you so far is you are a brother that is passionate about this space from your experience. And again, as I said before, your academic acumen, if you will, and then now going in, to being a writer. If I could deviate for a little bit, because we really met, we kind of exchanged, I think, online emails, I think LinkedIn, but we met and really the most we conversed was at the TEDx Roxbury event.
Right.
What was it like for you to be a part of that brand and also to bring it? Because one thing I do observe about you move in very organic authenticity with how can I frame it? Like you don't play. And so what was it like to come into that TEDx space, though, all due in the wonderfulness of TEDx Roxbury that's setting a standard for folks away from the major TEDx. What was it like to come into that space and be able to be your full authentic self and share your story?
Yes. And I'll start by giving a huge shout out, a huge plug to the family, my family with TEDx Roxbury, the volunteer organizers and event coordinators who put on an incredible TED Talk series. This was the second TED Talk out of TEDx Roxbury, but the group convened for the first time 4 years ago. And so I got to give praise where praise is due. They really held it down and pulled together a big group of folks to listen in and share in this Black boy joy and the love of Black people. So, the TEDx Roxbury space was incredibly important. I'll also name Roxbury Community College holds a very special place in my heart. That was the venue for the talk. Roxbury Community College, for those who don't know, has been around for about half a century and is New England's only predominantly Black institution. It's New England's only predominantly Black institution. And so, Blackness is, of course, very important to me. And I'm glad that we got to, meet, really exchange ideas a little bit at that location. Now I'm forgetting. Did I answer the question? What was your question? I think I'm going
what was it like to be able to bring your authentic self in that space? It speaks to the environment that Eric and the team created.
Right.
But, sometimes I recently, a few months ago, shared a video and talked about my intersectionality. And I realized in that there are very few spaces where I can go in and be my full self. Now, I have the ability to do it, but meaning where I sometimes don't feel that all of me is embraced. Depending on the environment,
right?
People will, from an a la carte sort of approach, I like this part of Jimmy, this part just, and if it can be an advantage to me, we'll tolerate.
Right.
That wasn't the case with TEDx Roxbury. What was it like for you to be embraced in that environment? You mentioned it, and it is definitely Bernard and all of them, Harvard as he's affectionately known. Like, it is a family once you go through that process of telling your story and whatnot. But for you, with everything that intersects where you are and who you are, what was it like to be in that space and fully embraced?
Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely magical. The title of my talk was The Miracle of Mattering. I got into the importance of ensuring that Black boys know that they matter from a young age. And the room was filled with about 450 attendees sitting in the audience, which was all great and wonderful. But there were three people who were the most important for me in the audience. My three young nephews, all at or under the age of 10. They were able to come up from New York City and be in the audience to hear their Uncle Jake talk about the importance of mattering on that stage. And I gave him a shout out during my talk. Please, folks, go check it out. You can find it on YouTube. But I give him a shout out, and it was just so magical to know that I was speaking directly to not just them, but to their hearts, to their souls. I'm not from the greater Boston area. I'm from New York City. I moved here when I was 23, 3 years ago. And I found a community here in Boston that I care so deeply about. This is now home, right? And to stand on that stage to platform this conversation about the importance of being, of existing, and carrying all of who you are into a space, nothing could be more important than that. For me, I'll speak briefly to this piece around, bringing in your identities into different places. Let's talk about the history, if just for a moment, the history of anti-Blackness in queer spaces, and the history of anti-queerness in Black spaces, and how when a single person exists in both those communities, there's so much contention that you can feel inside of yourself, but also that you experience no matter where you are. And you find yourself going into Black spaces, erasing or minimizing your own queerness, or going to queer spaces and trying to sort of assimilate into whiteness. And then you realize all of that's exhausting. I have to be me. I'm the only person I know how to be. And so that's kind of how I arrived at where I am. And it means that a lot of people, they don't know how to engage with me. They have no idea. And they just have to be okay with that.
That's that part that I was talking about the standard, and like I love it. Okay. So a couple of things that are coming out of this. Shout out to mathematics. I think T Clark, I'm not sure T Clark or the T Clark. Oh yeah. Over on Instagram listening as well. Mathematics says, my brother's right there. Congrats, Jake, on your success. Mathematics is in the building, who was also a TEDx Roxbury speaker.
Yes,
and
sir.
So I'm a little excited because tech is doing well. And also I'm realizing that when we bring you back, I want to maybe bring you back in the manner of on the After Dark brand part, because that's a different conversation, Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. We got the mothers in, even though they come on After Dark sometimes. But that intersectionality piece, that man. All right. So let me get back and stay focused, because we do, share that experience of how in some spaces we go in our full selves, but often don't feel that we're fully embraced sometimes in those spaces. So I appreciate you bringing that up. And as I said before, in the coming back, we will definitely make that sort of an After Dark segment. What is coming up for you? Are you going around doing a book signing? Are you doing a tour? Are you going to, do that TEDx Roxbury? You now have an experience to kind of be a little like one man show or something. Go and do some speaking. And so what's coming up next for you?
Certainly. So I have an incredible opportunity to speak with a number of students at MIT in just a couple of weeks. I'll be chatting with them about, being your authentic self in the workplace specifically. So I'm excited to be there. Over the next couple of months, I have a really ambitious goal. My goal is to ensure that we get copies of For Every Black Boy into as many Black serving libraries across the country as possible. That's my ambitious goal. I have a list of 1,000 Black serving libraries across the nation, some of which are in the greater Boston area, in New York City, my hometown, in Lexington, Kentucky, in Union City, Georgia, Jackson, Mississippi, Detroit. I have this list of libraries that I plan on donating copies to, and I need folks' support to doing that. It'll mean raising around $10,000 to $15,000 to ensure that I can ship these books all across the nation. But I think it's so important for Black boys to see themselves represented in the media in a positive way. And so hopefully this book will be one of many ways that young Black boys are able to see that. If folks visit foreveryblackboy.org, you'll see a little more information about what is going to go into this campaign. But if you're looking for an opportunity to support, please visit either my Instagram at I'm Jake Small or the For Every Black Boy Instagram at For Every Black Boy. And click the link in the bio. You'll be able to see how you can purchase one of these shirts that I'm sporting, the For Every Black Boy shirt. every single purchase for a shirt helps us to gift a book to a library across the nation, one that serves, again, Black youth and Black communities. So that's what's next for me. And in the future, I hope to be doing a number of other speaking opportunities. Jimmy, let me share this with you. This past weekend, I got to convene about 60 people together at a sold-out book launch event. It was hosted by my partner, the love of my life, Joel Ross. And we pulled together about 60 people to talk about the importance of Black Boy Mattering, to talk about the importance of my book, but also works that are just like it, works that are focused on ensuring that Black boys see themselves positively represented in the media. Brother Craig was in the room, as well as a number of other people who, uplifted the work, but you can find photos of that on my Instagram or on LinkedIn. Please, when I announce another book launch, I hope to see a lot of folks who are on this call in the room with me, because this work couldn't be more important. It could not be more important. Black boys need more than just representations of being gangsters and thugs in the media. We need representations of being all of your Black boy joy, all of your Black boy magic, all of your importance, all of your reverence. We need to see it. And so I look to mentors in my life, folks who I'm building a relationship with. Like, for example, I don't know if you know, our Secretary of Education, Dr. Patrick Tutwiler, is a Black man, graduated from Boston College.
Listen, that man
I know
is
you know him. I know you know him.
That man does it for me. Brother Pamerson, I feel, who's the chief of probation for this for the state. Like, we got some Black man boys, brothers that are doing great work. Go ahead and finish what you were saying.
So my goal is to figure out how I continue to harness some of this incredible good. I'm proud to live in a city where we have the Office of Black Male Advancement. I'm grateful to the folks who are part of the Black Boys and Men Commission on Black Boys and Men.
We have a retreat tonight.
Thank you for your service. Thank you. Let everybody know that I say thank you, because I live in this city as a transplant from New York City, because I know that we're doing some incredible work when it comes to education and when it comes to supporting Black boys and men through K through 12 school, as well as finding jobs, home ownership, and the likes. So thank you to everyone who's a part of that work. I'm proud to be a resident in this area.
Okay. We ended this out well.
We covered a lot. We
didn't cut out anymore. So I learned a lesson today. Turn the computer off at night and just restart first thing in the morning. We get these Macs and think that they can just stay up forever. They need to do. So and thank you for stepping in and being our co-host this morning. And my mother gave you all type of accolades. And so I really appreciate you being here, and again, your patience with the technical difficulties. And they really enjoyed you this morning being here. Mother said, welcome. We love you here. That could have been also, there was a little troll in here on YouTube, but we took care of that. And Sharon Cornelius, who's a charter member and a staple and a mother in this space, she said, I like your new co-host. So Sharon, it wasn't your phone. It was me today where we had the technical difficulty. So Brother Jake, all capital Jake, on behalf of Grandma, I appreciate you, sir. And we will get you rescheduled with some intentionality for After Dark and do a deeper delve into, because I want to compare notes. And I think public observing that gives them a different peer view and understanding of the experience. We have a lot of folks of old school Christian background, may not agree particularly with lifestyles or whatever, but at the end of the day, we're all humans, and there's an impact when you talk about that internal conflict. That is an After Dark conversation. Yes, sir. Let's get into it. And we're gonna get into it and have a couple of espresso martinis while doing so. We might need to. That's right. I know that's right. But Jake, thank you so much for being here. And before you go, I want to make sure that folks know where they can go. So 2 things. It's hyperlinked there in the comments, so you can click and Gene is in the room. My boy Jean Dolin. Good to see you, John. Gene needs to come sit in the space and whatnot, but I'll we'll hi Gene. Yeah, just a little bit of shake, just a little bit of shake. Love you, man. And you talk about being creative and intersectionality, like come on. What that brother's doing is like we gotta give some flowers to Jean Dolin, creative director, founder of what will be New England's first ever LGBTQIA+ art history museum. And he's really got in the way. there's many pop-ups that he's sort of doing now with what I call them mini pop-ups through the lens of like Portraits of Pride. You know what I mean? So that's the precursor that will be in a much more comprehensive space around all of our contributions, you know, to the world, to love, to humanity, to peace. And it's good to see the good bishop in as well. And so, Jake, I thank you, brother. And Uncle Thaddeus, thank you. In spite of the technical difficulties, he said good conversation. So I appreciate it, man. Jake, thank you. And I look forward to seeing you somewhere between the planning, if not at the event on October 7th, correct? October 7th for Black Boy Joy Summit. And also don't forget Black Joy Day. I think it's Thursday, September 12th, Uncle Thaddeus, right? Thursday, September 12th. So Jake, thank you. I'm going to go do a little bit of commentary before prayerfully this computer stays up. But thank you, brother, for being here. Be encouraged in everything you do and make sure you practice self-care. I mean, you got somebody that's looking out for you. I'm a little jealous there, but anyway, make sure you practice self-care. And again, shout out to Ross for being in the Java Cafe this morning.
Yes.
And thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Hey, thank you, Jimmy. Stay up and we'll talk again soon.
Sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
All right.
Folks, I hope that you were inspired. October 5th. It's in the calendar, Uncle Thaddeus. October 5th for the Black Boy Joy Summit, and also September 12th for Black Joy Day at the ICA. And so, Uncle Thaddeus, I need about 5 minutes. I probably just need to check in because I know I usually do something at the event, but if I am, then I'll do what I need to do. But the Java family needs about 5 minutes on Black Joy Day at ICA to make a presentation to you, sir. So yes, I said it here in the show. I love you, Uncle. All right, folks, I'm getting off of here. I survived the technical difficulties this morning. Thank all of you. Again, I want to thank my brother Jake that held it down while I don't know. I haven't upgraded since March of 22. So my computer's 2.5 years old, and with computers, 2.5 years is a long time. So y'all be prayerful that we get some more partnerships and support. And I'm messing with Uncle Thaddeus. I love that man. And there's things that Uncle Thaddeus does in the background. And someone shared with me some commentary that you shared with them. And they reached out and thank you, Uncle Thaddeus, for everything you do. All right, folks, I'm getting off of here. For every Black boy just joined as well. So shout out to the brand and to Jake as well for being with us this morning. Again, today is Thursday. And so we will not be with you tomorrow. Also, another programming note, we will not have a session on Monday. Monday is Mental Health Monday, and I'm taking a break. So we will not be together on Monday. We will be together the rest of the week next week. Also, please keep in mind that on September 16th, we are transitioning to 10 a.m. 10 a.m. We are starting here in the Java Cafe on September 16th at 10 a.m. On September 4th, I will be the host at Grace by Nia for their Beyond Berkeley night. And I think that is it. September 12th, we will be with Uncle Thaddeus. September 8th, we are with Brother Neil from Playing in the Park or Jesus. Verbal Fabric is having an event on September 8th. And so we'll be with them on that great national holiday. We're celebrating my birthday here in the Java Cafe on Thursday morning, September 5th. And so that's it for me. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. Don't forget, everyone, Tuesday at 9 a.m. Tuesday at 9 a.m. We will be back. And I'll talk to you guys then. Again, thank you for your patience today. And have a great week. Neil is still on. And Neil, thank you. Neil, thanks for coming out the other night to Black Java We're working on dropping that video and getting the date, doing it in the park. Neil, leave me alone. Doing it in the park on September 8th. And Neil, September 7th, Jesus Lord. And on September 7th, for the 10th anniversary of what started out as Hood Fit, which has now evolved into the 5K Run for Wellness. Uncle Thaddeus, I got a legitimate excuse. I'm supposed to co-MC for the New Edition concert on September 7th. And I think our call time is at 1 p.m. But yeah, Road to Wellness, they're out there at 7:30. All right, Uncle Thaddeus, I'll come out to Demick and be with you. Are you running? If you're, I don't know if I'm going to be with you while you're running, but I'll come out to the opening. So anyway, that is it for me today. Deuce, what's up, brother? One of our young people, I believe, from I had the opportunity yesterday to speak at the Freedom House. And it was an amazing time with them. Leave it to Latrell. I caught a little preach, but that's my favorite thing to do, to speak and share with young people. So Uncle Thaddeus is running. So I'll be with Uncle Thaddeus at the beginning of the start off of Road to Wellness. And then I would need to leave because I need to go home and get ready to get to City Hall. So, I'll be there in the morning with you, Uncle Thaddeus, when y'all get ready to run. I won't drop it yet. Uncle Thaddeus is like, yep, ain't no need for you to leave if one of New Edition is right there at the road to go. Yes, sir. What was I going to say? Wasn't meant for me to say it because I forgot it. Jimmy, am I going to run? Michael Bivens, New Edition. I forgot. So September 4th, Mayor will be with us. September 5th, we're celebrating here virtually. September 7th, we will be celebrating Road to Wellness. September 8th, doing it in the park with Brother Neil, and the official birthday. I doubt I'm doing anything big in public. This year is 53, and I'm really leaning toward just some small, intimate gatherings with a couple of it's my birthday. I really just want to get with some of my brothers and just that's what I'm feeling this year. Like my closest brothers and uncles and to get with them this year. So I doubt there will be a public sort of thing like we did last year. We'll virtually celebrate on the 5th. On September 7th, we'll be with Uncle Thaddeus. Again, on September 8th, the actual birthday. September 11th, I need to also keep you guys abreast that HIV, STIs, and unwanted pregnancy numbers are rising. And we are doing, Uncle Thaddeus said, let's do hunters. Hunters, and I'll talk to you about another idea. Those rates around HIV, STIs, and unwanted pregnancy numbers are rising. As I've mentioned, I just went into partnership with a long-standing nonprofit provider, their health services department here in the city of Boston. And on Wednesday, September 11th, we're going to make that announcement about the campaign and also our launch event that is taking place on Thursday, September 19th. So Thursday, September 19th, 6 p.m. at the Mix. We did confirm it's at the Mix. And so that is a targeted, specific event for young adults ages 21 to 40. And so we'll get the link up for folks to register to be a part of that. So, all right. That's it for me. Don't forget October 5th for the Black Boy Joy Summit as well. And everything else, we'll keep you abreast as things are going, since I'm going to be off for a day. Sister Michelle, I got to follow up with you because her birthday is close to mine as well. But thank y'all, because I want to do me. So that's probably the only thing I'm going to do, besides a little bit of turning up that weekend. All right. We'll see you guys on Tuesday at 9 a.m. Thank you all for being with us today. And we shall see you Tuesday at 9 a.m. Have a great day, everybody.